Hello, Cynthia here. This is a short video to introduce myself and share a bit about my story of how I came to live where I do and do the work that I do, which is all about intentional communities. I am speaking to you from my home that I have been building for the last 2 years. It's a naturally built home with a big greenhouse along the southern wall, and it's nestled within an eco-village in central Vermont, in a community where my neighbors have also built their homes. So this, for me, has just been one of the many benefits of getting to live in a community, getting all of that advice, tool sharing, and support to fulfill what has been a lifelong dream of creating a home. And I'm glad that you too are on this path to exploring intentional communities, maybe figuring out ways to get more community in your life, perhaps visit some places, contemplating going through a membership process to join. And probably like you, I did not grow up in an intentional community. Far from it. I grew up in the suburbs outside of Boston with a family that was incredibly loving and supportive, but didn't really understand when I started to spend more time in the woods and planted a garden and started to travel to visit these places where people were living a more alternative lifestyle. But this, for me as a young person, was huge, so inspiring, really gave me those experiences that broadened my horizons and my understanding of what's possible in this life. And at this point, I have been fortunate over the course of a decade to have visited more than 100 intentional communities in the United States and abroad. And with those experiences, and now also living in a community myself, working with multiple organizations, including the Foundation for Intentional Community, to promote community living, I've really honed in on supporting people in their path towards finding and joining a community that's a fit for them. So that's why I created Community Finders, the organization that helps people go from being a community seeker to someone who actually can find a community. Because I hear that term thrown out a lot in this movement. A community seeker, somebody who's looking and searching, maybe we'll find a community, but no, you can find a community. It is totally possible. Plenty of people have made that leap from mainstream living, from living maybe in an apartment in the city or a home alone in the suburbs, into a more connected, purposeful, and intentional way of life. And my aim and my work right now is to support individuals through all the steps in that process. That's why I do my one-to-one matchmaking work, where I recommend communities that are a fit for a person based on their values, their lifestyle, their interests. And what I've been finding actually is people who will have this matchmaking session with me, they'll get their list of recommended communities, and then for many of them, the journey stops there. There's some roadblock, some inability to take the next step, because it is a big thing to contact communities, plan your visits, contemplating moving. And so that's why I created the Community Finders Circle, which is an ongoing group support and coaching program to help you take those steps after you get your list of recommended communities or wherever you are at your starting point, but really to have those people along with you in this journey. So I'll share a short story to highlight why I find this so valuable in the process. It's 2016 and I'm attending one of the European Ecovillage conferences that happens every summer in a different community. And this one was in Sweden at Angsbacka community. And at this point, I was a young person who had traveled and visited all these communities and was quite involved in the movement and was asked to share about my experiences on stage. So there I am telling my story of growing up with a very loving family, but not really feeling understood, not really feeling accepted for the choices that I was making. And at the end of my talk, I got this big round of applause. It was so validating to have people say that, oh yeah, we get that, and you're here, and your presence here is meaningful and is valid, the choices that you've made in life. So I go back home, and my parents, who apparently are now on Facebook, saw this video because it was posted online. And for me, immediately, oh gosh, here is all of that I've had to work through in my life. The acceptance, the towing the line between these different realities, the mainstream business as usual story and the new story that I wanted to step into. But because my parents had seen that round of applause from the audience, it created this shift for them. They realized that there are other people like me. They don't just have a, crazy daughter who's off doing this. There's a whole movement, hundreds and hundreds of people who are also on this path. And that moment, that experience of connection and support and feeling like even if you're not in your community yet, but you are connected to this broader movement of people who are finding community. That's what I want to give you. I'm here to support you in going from this seeker to becoming a community finder. And I can't wait to hear more about your story and to work with you. Please be in touch with me if you have any questions or just want to share about how your journey's been going so far. I would love to hear from you. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.